Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. Now folks, if you've been following the Washington Commanders this season, you know it's been a roller coaster. But what we saw last week at Mercedes-Benz Stadium was a stark reminder that even a team with high aspirations can hit a rough patch, especially when facing adversity and tough opponents. And the game against the Atlanta Falcons. Well, it was not the return that Dan Quinn, the head coach of the Commanders, had envisioned. You could see it in his eyes, in his body language, frustration, disappointment, a desire for his team to wake up and realize what's at stake. Because let's be honest, the Commanders were outmatched. They didn't just lose, they looked second best in almost every phase of the game. And for a team that set high standards at the start of the season, that's a sobering reality. Missing key players due to injury has been a recurring theme for Washington, and yes, that hurts. But even with the absences, Quinn was expecting more. He's a coach known for his disciplined approach, for demanding excellence, and for instilling a relentless mindset. So seeing his team underperform, especially on defense, was not just disappointing, it was unacceptable. And Quinn made sure to send that message loud and clear after the game. No sugarcoating, no holding back. He let the locker room know that the standards he set are non-negotiable, that excuses won't fly anymore. Now, I want to pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. What we saw on the field was a combination of miscommunications, missed tackles, and a lack of the intensity that we've come to expect from a Ron Rivera-led defense. Marcus Mariota, the Falcons' quarterback, isn't exactly known for his arm strength or pocket presence, but even he seemed to have an easier time than he should against the Commanders' secondary. The defense looked sluggish, unorganized, and frankly, uninspired. That's not what you want to see from a team that prides itself on grit and resilience. It's a wake-up call, plain and simple, and Quinn's response afterward was telling. He was blunt, straightforward, he didn't mince words. The message was clear, this kind of performance cannot happen again or there will be consequences. But it's not just about the defense. The entire team seemed to lack the polish and focus that they had displayed earlier in the season. The offense, while not terrible, wasn't enough to keep pace. Kicker Matt Gay was a bright spot, showing consistency and reliability that the team desperately needs. His performance was one of the few highlights from that game, proving once again how crucial special teams can be in close contests. Yet even Gay couldn't carry the load alone. The overall effort was lacking, and at this point in the season, that's a problem. The reality is, the Commanders are facing a crossroads. They have high expectations, and they set themselves high standards, especially under Quinn's leadership. Remember, last season, in the first year under his guidance, they managed to reach the NFC Championship game. That's no small feat, and it shows what this team is capable of when firing on all cylinders. But right now, they're far from that level. Injuries have played a significant role, no doubt, but that's part of the game. Every team deals with setbacks, and it's how they respond that defines their character. And this is where the leadership comes into play. Quinn, with his vast NFL experience, knows that setbacks are part of the journey. But he also knows that complacency, or a lack of effort, can derail any season. That's why he laid down the law after that game. His message was simple: we have to regroup, refocus, and elevate our game. The next challenge is on the road against the Los Angeles Chargers, a team that has shown flashes of brilliance but also inconsistency. It's a tough matchup, and the Commanders will need to be at their best if they want to come away with a win. The upcoming game is critical. It's not just about the scoreboard, it's about sending a message to the entire league that this team is still hungry, still motivated, and still capable of competing at a high level. Ron Rivera's squad has built its identity on resilience, on fighting through adversity, and on maintaining those high standards. But standards mean nothing if they're not met on the field. The players now have to show that they can respond to adversity with grit and determination. Anything less than full commitment and focus will be seen as a sign that the team has lost its way, and that's something Quinn will not accept. Throughout this season, Washington has dealt with injury issues, which is unfortunate but expected in the NFL. Still, that's no excuse for a lack of effort or discipline. The players have to step up, adapt, and give their best every single week. The NFL is a league where every game matters, and the margin for error is razor thin. If the Commanders want to make a deep playoff run again, they can't afford to drop games like this, especially not against division rivals or tough opponents like the Falcons. The reality is, Quinn's experience and leadership are more important now than ever. He's seen seasons spiraling out of control and knows how to steer the ship back onto course. But it's a team effort. The players need to buy into the process, work harder in practice, and execute with precision. That's what will separate the good teams from the great ones. It's about mental toughness, physical effort, and a relentless desire to improve every week. Looking ahead, the Commanders have to learn from this setback. They need to analyze what went wrong, address their weaknesses, and focus on the next game with renewed energy. Because, as we all know, the NFL season is a marathon, not a sprint. One bad game doesn't define a team's destiny, but how they respond to it does. The players and coaching staff will be tested in the coming days, and their response will determine whether they can still be considered serious contenders this season. Now, I want to stress that while this game was disappointing, it's not the end of the world. The season is still young, and the NFL is unpredictable. But the message is clear: no team can afford to slack off, especially when the competition is fierce and the stakes are high. The Commanders have the talent, the coaching, and the potential. They just need to harness it, tighten their focus, and play with the intensity and discipline that made them a playoff team last year. They must show that resilience, that hunger to bounce back stronger. And once again, the key is consistency. They've shown flashes of brilliance, but they need that to be sustained over the long haul. The injuries might be a hurdle, but they're not insurmountable if the team comes together and plays with heart. It's about accountability, about pushing each other in practice, about making sure every player understands the importance of every snap. That's what separates good teams from great teams, and that's what the Commanders need right now. The upcoming game against the Chargers is a perfect opportunity for this team to prove that they are still in the fight, that they haven't lost their edge. It's a chance to respond to critics, to silence doubts, and to remind everyone why they were considered one of the most promising teams last season. The NFL is a league where momentum shifts can happen in a heartbeat, and the Commanders need to seize this moment to turn things around. Because if they don't, the road ahead could get even tougher, and their playoff dreams might start to fade. In closing, let's remember that every team goes through ups and downs. The key is how they respond. With Quinn's experience and the talent on this roster, the Commanders have everything they need to bounce back. But it's going to take more than just talent. It's going to require heart, discipline, and a relentless focus on their high standards. They have to stay true to their identity, to their goals, and to each other. Because this season is far from over and the story isn't written yet. The upcoming weeks will tell us a lot about what this team is truly made of. So, stay tuned, stay passionate, and keep supporting your Washington Commanders. They have the potential to rise from this setback stronger than ever, but only if they respond the right way. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. This season is shaping up to be a real test of character, resilience, and unity. Let's see how they respond. Thanks for sticking with me, and as always, go Commanders!